Hey guys, welcome to Executive Espresso. Glad you're here because we have a wonderful guest. We have Brian Decoded from X, and we're here to decode how he built a seven-figure digital business starting out fresh in the U.S. at $4 an hour. He was an offshore assistant. He became a U.S. citizen, and he is now president of Alpha Efficiency. We're going to be here for about the next 18 to 20 minutes talking with Brian, a SEO powerhouse. He is a web design visionary. He is a digital emissions, zero digital emissions CEO, and he scaled from nothing but about $3,000 to eventually he's one of the top minds helping entrepreneurs, innovators, business leaders really learn how to maximize profit with a clean code and, as he says, clean strategy. Today we're going to be talking about three tools that Brian will share with you that every business needs to hit six figures, supercharge your SEO and web performance, and he's going to leave you with some powerful affirmations that you can take into the weekend. It's great to have Brian here. Hey, Brian, I love that statue back there. Everyone needs a statue looking over their shoulder. That's one of the first things that kind of caught my attention. I was telling Brian yesterday we had a pre-show call, and I said, "Gosh, man, I thought that was some type of digital wallpaper, but it's actually a statue." And what a nice view you have there. Earlier, there's a guy cleaning windows back there. He didn't fall off his scaffold back there, did he?
No, he scaled down.
He scaled down. Well,
Yeah,
we're going
he
to talk
kept
about
it legit.
scaling up. We're going to talk about scaling up. I hope you guys have something tasty to drink. I'm drinking some tasty tea, and Brian's got something tasty to drink. But kind of share your story with us about how you came from being a just a assistant to really scaling up into six figures and being the president of this great company that you're now heading up and running.
So my first job as a virtual assistant, I've been contracted out for like $4 an hour. That was back home in Europe. So that was like a first starting point, and I was doing the jobs that AI does today, like writing meta descriptions, writing uh, Google Ads copy, and a lot of these simplistic tasks that are like streamlined and automated today. So it gave me the opportunity to learn how Google was operating at a time. And on that job, I got like my first managerial experience of managing like a web developer, a content writer, and a graphic designer, and how to put all of those things together. And that was like a really intense experience. But the really interesting part about that very first job, even though I was like not that great in terms of the pay, it was remote. So the gem of that experience was that like I packed my laptop up. It was like a really crappy laptop. It had like 2 gigabytes of RAM, and that at that time it was like able to run Chrome. And I picked up that laptop and I went straight to Greece for a vacation. And I was working from a friend's house like for a month over there, like and from the beach and like, oh, this is life, you know. So that's how I started out. Like my very first job, I already was like 100% remote. And I said to myself, I'm never gonna give up on being a remote. And because I was outsourced, and I've been like a part of the 200 people team, and like 90% of these people were either from my country or from neighboring countries, and well, I was like, damn, like one day I'll be in the United States, I'll have the exact same setup like these guys, like having like an offshore affordable talent, uh, and being able to build something big. And those guys, like shout outs to them. They are the first ones that gave me the opportunity. They're called First Beat Media. They're out of Florida, and these guys are just beasts, serial entrepreneurs. They just like throw money on dating websites. They did like adult stuff. They've done a lot of like arbitrage from Google traffic, selling their own ads. So like very successful digital entrepreneurs. And I could say I was blessed to be a part of that ecosystem because it gave me the vantage point to see what's possible. I was on that job like for a year and moved into a e-commerce brand in back home. I was there for like another year and a half, and then I moved to the United States. And when I landed in the United States, it was like a very interesting story. So I'm going to loop you in. I got a job at the grocery store. Like I'm fresh out of boat, fresh off the plane, and I'm trying like to get by. I have $3,000 to my name. My first rent was like 575 in Southside Chicago, and from there on out, like I'm panicking. Like how am I going to pay for my food if I don't have work? And I joined this grocery store chain, and there's like this 21-year-old prick manager like taking it up on me, and I'm like, Friday comes in, like I can't, like he's giving me a hard time if I like just look at a text to see if someone called me for like some serious job interview or something. And like Friday I'm like, guys, like I'm out. Like there's like way too much abusive energy over here like for me to even take it up for like more than a week. And then a couple of weeks later, um I landed like my driver's license, bought my first car, and got my first job all in the same day. And I was like, wow. Like I just like came back from a job interview. I was rushing from the job interview to pass my driver's license test. I passed that. It was like such a huge alignment. And long story short, like I stuck with that company for 6 years. They let me manage their whole department and become a chief marketing officer for them. And from there, like come 2000 end of 2018, like, hey guys, like here's my 1 month notice because I became a chief marketing officer. So I thought that they needed more time to get their bearings straight. And they were like, yeah, that's fine, thank you. And I left with no severance, no backup plan, just me and one VA. And from there on out, I built out Alpha Efficiency.
That's amazing. That's amazing. But how did you keep your momentum all that time? I mean, you worked in a grocery store. You made
That
very
was
low
just it
pay.
was just
You
like
did
it was just like a 4 days. Like as soon as I transitioned out of that store, I got
okay.
that job. I got that job off of Craigslist, and I stuck with that job for 6 years.
Wow, that's amazing. But what advice would you have for people when they start, getting into the drudgery of the every old day, work a day? How would you share with people some tips on keeping up their vision and keeping up their momentum?
So the vision of Alpha Efficiency was marinating in the background for 10 years. And even when I got that job at eTech, where I stuck with them for like 6 years, uh, I I was building up my blog. And I was like getting the newsletter subscribers. We even launched a digital magazine. It got very popular and reached like I'd say like $10,000 in revenue for a digital magazine. It wasn't a bad deal. That was back in 2014. But then I got promoted, and my work commitments from just being a web analyst to becoming a chief marketing officer, that took a lot out of me. So it's like I had to slow down that project and cancel it. Yeah, for the sake of that experience that I was getting within the company. And those are the same guys that I work for are the ones that bought me the statue.
The statue.
So
Work hard, guys.
yeah,
You get a statue.
yeah.
That
So
that that's
it was
amazing. Did you ever find yourself? You said that you had to slow down. Did you ever find yourself running out of fuel, running out of steam, kind of rethinking your whole model of success, asking yourself, "Gosh, is all this work really worth it?" And if you did, how did you keep your mindset focused?
it happened multiple times that I had to slow things down and recalibrate. So once the life kicks you in the gutter and you have to pivot, the only thing that keeps you going forward is your vision. So if you don't accept a failure, it's not really a failure, it's a detour. So that was probably the way that I've approached it. I always wanted Alpha Efficiency to be a content driven company, and
Hmm.
that that was a big pivot that I've had to like take more responsibility for my job, like so that I can pay my bills and stay afloat. Like you'll always have to have a balance between how much money you want to have to maintain the lifestyle that you want versus how much time you want to put into your lifestyle. So if I could go back to talk to my younger self, I would say like maybe you want to curb down some of the expenses so you can put more into the business. But then again, establishing yourself on a new continent and having a comfortable life, it's also not an easy achievement at the same time. So like a lot of things in the entrepreneurial journey are highly subjective. You can't judge another entrepreneur based on your own circumstances because you never know what is their starting point. I had
Mm.
a lot of how would I say this? Um, a lot of thinking about how do people get to where they are and then reverse engineer their story. And
Mm.
if you look into a lot of successful entrepreneurs that come from the States, you have to understand that they have a higher level of self actualization point. It's not the
What,
same.
yeah, well, go ahead. What does that mean? Because that's a term I use in psychology. It comes from Abraham Maslow, Maslow's hierarchy. The peak of the pyramid is self actualization. But for an innovator, for an entrepreneur, what do you think self actualization means?
So I would say the lower you are on a financial totem, the more scarcity mindset you experience because you're living it. So if you want to self-actualize, you have to become wealthy in your mind before you become wealthy in
Ah,
reality. I didn't like necessarily quote Maslow or anyone here. This is more my observation.
yeah, I love that.
And
Wealthy in your
and
mind first. What does that look like?
well, like let's just walk back to that grocery store. I, for I, back in Serbia, I lived like a relatively comfortable life. Like I graduated college, uh, like investment banking, and I never wanted to stay in that lane. Like it was too corporate, it was too narrow for me to follow something so strict in terms of the discipline needed to execute on a daily basis. That where I wanted to have more creativity, where I can express myself. So I knew that business was a thing for me. I never wanted to stay in some corporate bureaucracy. And from there, um, uh, I had to pivot. I had to decide what is it that I'm going to do. So before I even graduated, I figured out that digital marketing was a path for me. There was a lot of dots that weren't connected and it was new and fresh. So whatever we come up in the digital marketing space, even today, the schools haven't caught up on that. So a lot of findings that we create or discover are completely new that you could be teaching to other people.
I love that. And I have a question for you, but I want to make a statement. You came to the U.S. without, I think, a U.S. college degree, and the point I wanted to make because I put that up in the post is that don't wait on a perfect starting point. There is no perfect starting point. Some people think that they have to acquire a certain amount of knowledge before they get started, or they have to have the right connections before they get started. You determine your starting point, and all that comes next. And so, what are you talk about what we label the business tech stack? What are the three things that you believe or you would recommend to people listening that they need to get started now? What are those three things?
A
I
service
think
that
they're
they,
very simple.
a service you can offer, uh, a landing page where you can collect the the visitors and free time to process the sales calls.
And
The
that
key,
time I found, I love something Elon Musk put up. I'd never thought about it that way, but I think it was a great mindset reset. And that is, if you give yourself 30 days to do something like clean your house, it will take 30 days to clean your house. If you give yourself 3 hours to clean your house, it'll take you 3 hours to clean your house. And so the time that Brian's talking about isn't just going to materialize out of the ether. It's not going to materialize out of thin air. You actually have to put success on your calendar. And what I mean by that is literally open your calendar. I've got a little calendar on this thing here. My wife has an old day planner. She loves it, works for her. But whatever your process is, actually pencil in how much time you're going to dedicate. A friend of mine, Hitch Slap, and I were talking about what a lot of people want to do on X is get to that 5 million impressions in 90 days. And I was amazed to hear Hitch talk about the amount of time it took him to do that. That he actually dedicated X number, no pun intended, X number of hours a day for X to accomplish that. If you want to get fit, you have to make an appointment, a regular appointment to be fit. If you want to improve your relationships, you have to have that occupy a space on your calendar. And so what Brian just said, I think, is gold because customer service. If you care about customer service, then do an inventory. How much time have you dedicated for servicing your customer, for fielding complaints? What percentage of customer service is your business? And if you look around and you've not dedicated time to that, then, well, of course, you're going to have some unhappy customers. You're going to have a high churn rate, customers that come and go. A lot of people I find, they just want to make that first sale, not realizing that the first sale is actually just the first stepping stone to a deeper relationship with a customer. And so, Brian, just for a moment, let's talk about that. How do you? What are some tactical things that people can do? Some tips, whether it's SEO or landing pages, websites, or other forms of business that you found work in deepening relationships with customers?
So if you have an offer, so I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they start off and they don't really nail down the offer. So offer creation is a skill, and I operated without the offer because I was hyper focused on the sales aspect of things. So every offer that I've done for my customers when I was starting my agency out was like custom fit. Like I was an order taker. Someone comes in, hey, I need this, and that. Okay, like I do a strategy analysis because I was capable human being when I entered into the business. I already knew how to do a lot of things. So the easiest way that you can make a sale when you're offering services in particular is just to give a customer what they want. But as you're doing that, you'll learn kind of what customers need so that you can create an offer. And one thing that uh, new newbie entrepreneurs kind of fail is that they think that they just want to deliver the offer. Like let's say I offer like a video subscription service, and like, oh, it's $2,500 a month. Okay, like, but it's a subscription. You have to buy a subscription. No, I just want a one time $1,500 to try you out. Like, okay, then just give him the invoice for 1,500. Collect that cash. Don't overcomplicate it. Use common sense. If you're broke, don't just go like what the guru told you to sell like that particular offer. Offer is what you pitch, but the service is what you sell at the end. And different people have different needs, so of course you will custom fit the service for their particular use case because you want to collect that money. If you have a rent payment and salary payments behind you, you don't get to be super picky about what is it that you're selling. You can do that on a higher totem pole when you actually have the money and you want to make sure that the new clients you're onboarding are worth your time. And that is, in my opinion, the easiest business model to start,
Hmm.
the service-based business model, because I broke down my whole success into a very simple framework of doing one sales call per day.
Hmm.
And for years, I stuck down to it. I think I had about 3,000 sales calls behind me. Um, and the whole success was very boring. In fact, like the only thing that I would have to do, I stick to this even to this day. I do like about 1 hour of prospecting to get one appointment per day, so I can
Mm.
have my calendar, booked with the people that I actually want to talk to, that are qualified customers. Because there's no sense of you hopping on 20 sales calls in a week, and you get burnt out from selling so much, when you can just hop on one, and you vet the person because everything's online. You can see who they are, what they've done in the past, if you would like to work with them or not, because it's like internet's pretty abundant from that vantage point.
Well, yeah, one of the wisest things someone said to me is that not everyone's your customer. And I think people get so desperate thinking that everyone's their customer, they wind up serving no one, or the people that do serve are unhappy with their service. And so you really do want that fit. And because I think having a customer relationship is a bit of a journey, it's not a one shot, knock it out of the park. It's a bit of a journey. And so, yeah, great advice. Great advice. We do have some questions here. Hey, Matthias, my friend, good to see you. Guys, we're here for just a few more minutes. So if you have some questions for the expert here, Brian, pop them up there in the chat. I will bring them on the screen here. Good morning, Matthias. But my friend Jan Carlos has a question. What does retirement look like for a visionary like yourself, Brian? When you're thinking about retirement, what does that look like for you?
So I semi-achieved retirement on multiple occasions. So the the retirement looks like working 2 to 4 hours per day without having any financial pressure. That that is where you can say, "Oh, I'm a retired as entrepreneur." When your system's like well-oiled machine, and you have your employees managing most of your processes, that you are actually a business owner. You have a machine that is working for you, and you can only, like, kind of like putting a Tesla car on autopilot mode and letting it drive for you. You're still there. If something happens, you can take over the wheel and start driving. But if you ask me what the retirement is, that's exactly what it is, because you're building your own equity. Some people will work for someone else 9 to 5 for 40 years in different companies. They'll lose their 401k login passwords from Fidelity and other accounts. They won't even know where their money is until they need it. And they'll get like a fraction of the value of the upside that you can build as an entrepreneur. Now, entrepreneurship can be very painful, and the fact that you're doing a lot of things for the very first time, sales, acquisitions, hiring, a lot of different processes. But once you set the foundation, you can end up in a cruise mode, and that cruise mode, like, it can happen multiple times during your entrepreneurial career, especially if you stick to it. But I would say 2 to 4 hours per day is like a retirement mode, because it's
Hmm.
if you do what you love, it's not really work, and that's
Absolutely.
that's
And
where
I
I'm
would
at.
I would echo that because retirement for me is not giving up my day-to-day job and laying on the beach or spending the rest of my life with a fishing rod in my hand, although some people find lots of value in that, and good for you. I think value for me, retirement for me, is in the value of what I do, and continuing to do that which improves the lives of other people, things that have great meaning for me, and that's not doing nothing. That is actually out there investing my talents wisely in those that find the most benefits out of them. Brian, before we run out of time here, how can folks get in touch with you? What's the best place to find Brian Decoded?
Branddecoded.com. You can get some free resources over there, so I can come in bringing some gifts. There's a 7 days to profitable aesthetics. It's a free course that you can take on how you can improve your landing page conversions, so you can make more money on the same amount of traffic that you got. I would recommend starting from there. There's another couple of free resources that you can download over there, or sign up for my newsletter. Goes live every Friday. So tomorrow I'm hitting send on something I've been working on for the past week. So if you sign up today, you still have an option to catch my next newsletter about Google ads and Facebook ads. So if you're into
Wow,
that,
freebies.
sign up.
Who doesn't like
Yeah.
freebies? I love freebies. You guys go over there and check out what Brian has to offer. And Brian, what's some positive affirmation, some mental boost that you can share with their audience to kind of take them into the weekend?
You are worthy of being wealthy.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. You got to believe it before you see it. You got to believe it before you see it. Guys, go over and check out Mindset Masterclass. Executive Espresso is sponsored every week by my Mindset Masterclass. That is school.com/mindset. School.com/mindset. School is spelled SKOOL. We're back every Friday at the intersection of innovation and mindset, innovation and business, innovation, leadership and mindset. If you have a story to tell, send me a DM. I'd love to have you on the program. It's only a fast 18 to 20 minutes. We're running a bit over today because Brian's such a stimulating speaker. And I've been waiting to see if that window cleaning guy came back, but I guess he's busy cleaning other windows. Brian, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. Guys, thank you for being here. Bring your questions next week. And by the way, Monday morning at 7 a.m., Chicago, Memphis time, we'll be doing our next Monday Mindset Mojo. It is a panel interview. It is a star-studded show with some of the best thinkers out there. So join us for that. And I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Bye, guys.